Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Mint Cooperative. This was sent to me by Poketto and is designed by Jonathan Gilmore and Brian Lewis. Again, it comes in one of these cute little mint tins. But it's not mints, you dingus. It's not mints, it's game. I don't know what I'm doing there. Mint Cooperative is a refreshingly light cooperative game. Fight against periodontal peril with the perfect filler game to keep you engaged time and time again. Let me show you how to play. So the objective of Mint Cooperative is to protect Mintopia City and the other towns of Mortimer County from the foul schemes of the Dominion of Halitosis. This is a cooperative game where you'll be collectively trying to defeat the villain by making it through all the mayhem cards in the trouble deck before triggering any of the losing endgame conditions. Each player gets a hero card with a different heroic ability. You also have a meeple where you will start on your respective cities. Now, to win the game, you must reveal all of the 3 of the mayhem cards in this trouble deck. However, if you trigger any of these losing conditions, you instantly lose. This is the panic track, the regional panic track. If it meets or exceeds 27, you lose the game. Or if the villain card has any specific losing conditions. In the case of the first villain, nicotine, no losing conditions there. So basically, just make sure it doesn't hit 27 for this tutorial game. Now, when it's your turn, you take 4 dice and you roll them. In this case, it's a 2, 3, 4, 4. Now, on the first turn of the game, you don't do this. But let's say this is like the second turn. You go ahead and see if trouble is afoot. Here we rolled 2, 3, and 2 4s. That means we would resolve 2 trouble cards because we have 2 dice that are the same value. If there's only 1 die with a value of 4 or more, but none of the dice have matching values, you resolve a card. If the die all have 3 or less, then nothing happens, no trouble. If 1 die has a value of 4 or higher, then you're going to have trouble, which is 1 trouble card. If you have 2 die with the same value, then that's double trouble. And if 3 or more dice have the same face value, then you resolve 2 trouble cards, then remove one of the triple threat action dice from the pool. So for that roll, we would have had basically a resolve 2 trouble cards. So what you do is you take 2 cards and you resolve them. So okay, here we have to take 3 mints from this spot on the board. Now in this case, there are no more mints on the freshness track, which means we have to move the panic mint by that many exclamation points. So we move it 3 spaces forward. Even if just 1 mint had been removed, you would still remove 2, or you would still move it 2 because whenever a new panic symbol is revealed, you count how many panic symbols are on the card and you move it up by that many. But in this case, because all 3 were taken away, it would be 3 panic symbols up. And then our second trouble card, it's the top, middle, and bottom. You take 2 mints from each. This would mean there were no new mints revealed, or not mints, but panic tokens revealed, so that one's fine. If I remove 2 from here, there are new symbols revealed, so you count all 3, move it up by 3. And on the bottom here, no new symbols were revealed, so we're good. So now looking back at our original roll, which was 2 4s, a 3, and a 2. Now, once we've checked for trouble, the active player will take one of these dice and perform an action with it. Here are your options. You can either add a mint, add 2 mints, run and mint 1, fly and reduce panic 3, heroic feat, or exploit weaknesses. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. Let's say it's the blue player's turn, and they choose to take this dice. This is mint 2, meaning this player would add 2 mints to their card to cover up any symbols that are uncovered. Then it would be the next person's turn, each player taking a remaining action die and doing the effect. So player 2 could run and mint 1, right? Take the 3, and let's say it's the purple player. They could run to Cinnamon Center to an adjacent spot in the city and place a mint. If you took a 4, you could fly and reduce panic 3. So let's say this player flies to Mintopia City. It doesn't have to be adjacent. It can be anywhere in the city. And then they would reduce the panic by 3. And then when there's 1 die remaining, that's the end of the turn. Now let's go over some of the other actions. Let's say they had rolled, someone took a 5. What that action is Heroic Feat. That's when you can do the power that's on your special hero card. Like Peppermint Pizzazz can add 4 mints to any combination of your current and adjacent towns. So they could do 1, 2, 3, 4, since these 2 are adjacent to where they are currently. If you had rolled a 6 and done that action, that's called Exploiting Weakness. In this case, you look at the villain card, it's Cold Turkey, reduced regional panic by 3. Like so. And finally, at the start of the turn, some of the players receive these stunt cards. The stunt cards have different abilities, like, for example, Got a Bad Feeling. Reveal the next 3 trouble cards, then place them back on top of the trouble deck in any order. However, if you want to use these actions, you have to take an action that's matching the die face on it. So you'd have to take a 3 to activate this card. Here's another example. Assemble. You need a 3 to activate it. Choose any town, fly 2 heroes there, and add 3 mints. We have Don't Panic. You would need to take a 5, and this one reduces regional panic by 7. Now, inside this trouble deck are Mayhem cards. These are randomly shuffled in sort of pandemic style in the deck throughout, and when you pull one, you have to increase regional panic by the total number of visible panic symbols across all towns. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So bam, up to 11. And then, if the villain has any mayhem effects, in this case they don't, you would activate those. But these can be very dangerous if you have not been careful about covering up the panic symbols in the city. Finally, some villains have event cards. All that means is that when it tells you to, you resolve an event card from the event deck and use the toxic icon on the card to determine where the villain's special event takes place. Let me show you some of the other abilities you can have. We've got Citizen Cinnamite. Up to 3 times, run to another location, then mint 1. Add 1 additional mint to your final destination. Fantastic Freshman. Reroll any of the dice still in the action pool. This does not count as a trouble roll. The Super Spear. In either order, you may fly to another town and activate the villain's special effect. We already went over Peppermint Pizzazz. General Gumdrop. Add mints to your current town until no panic symbols are exposed. Then reduce regional panic by the number of mints that you added. And Liberty Licorice. Reduce regional panic by 6. Otherwise, there are a bunch of these stunt cards I didn't go over. I'm not going to go through all of them, as well as different villains you can fight with, different setups, and different events that can trigger. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. You're basically running around this city, trying to fill up the spots with mints and making sure that your panic doesn't go up too high. And as long as you can pull all 3 mayhem cards without the panic level getting too high, you win the game. Otherwise, you get these stunt cards and you draft the dice to use abilities and try to protect the city as best you can. So this is another game in the Mint series, and while I really liked Mint Works, I can't say I was as big of a fan of Cooperative. Mint Works is elegant, it's simple, it's satisfying. Cooperative relies a little too much on luck for my taste, and a lot of it is kind of out of your control. Now, there are fun ideas here. You know, I love the completely different direction it takes in theming by making it a superhero game. The names are cute, the villain, names, all the theming is very cute. And there's even some fun powers you can utilize. The game offers die drafting, which makes it important to decide who grabs what die. So to say that there's no value here would be unfair, because there's definitely some decent fun ideas here. The problem is that way too much is dependent on die rolls, and if you just happen to constantly roll poorly, you can never do what you need to do. The game offers you these like stunt cards, right, which have these promising abilities, but guess what? If you don't roll the die that active the exact number that can trigger those cards just sit there doing nothing and get discarded at the end of each turn. This game could have worked, I think, if instead you were guaranteed certain minimum actions, like at least you can move 1 or, I don't know, mint 1. Maybe the dice could strengthen or affect the actions, I don't know. Instead, it's just a very simple, roll the dice. Yeah, we didn't get what we needed. Nope, that's not what we needed. We can't do anything about the situation. Now you might say, hey, isn't this supposed to be like a light, breezy game? Like, who cares if it's not super complex? I don't mind light games. I think Mintworks is a very, simple game. That's a light game that is balanced and satisfying to play. Cooperative to me just feels like you're rolling dice, going, okay, what do we get? Okay, I hope we can do something with what we rolled. And when you can't, you just go, oh well. Like, it's not terrible, but I feel like there needs to be more balancing here if you're going to have die rolling and drafting as your main mechanic. Other die drafting games will have ways to manipulate like what you roll, but this is just roll bad roll, you're fucked. Not necessarily a game I would want to go back to over and over. Kind of disappointing.